Class 11th, Subject Physics, 11th chapter, Electric Currents through Conductors. From this chapter, let us see electromotive force, that is EMF. As its name suggests, it is electromotive force, but remember, it is not the force, it will be the energy supplied by the source of EMF or EMF device. So EMF is nothing but it is the energy supplied by the EMF device. Now when the electric charges move through the conductors, a potential difference is developed between the two ends of the conductor. For steady flow of charges, that is to maintain the flow of charges, the potential difference is required to be maintained across the two ends of the conductor. There is a device which maintains potential difference by doing some work on these electric charges. Such a device is called as EMF device, and it provides the EMF to that circuit. The charges move in the conductor owing to energy provided by an EMF device. So to flow the electric charges, the energy is supplied by the EMF device, and due to that energy supplied, the charges can move through the conductors. The device supplies this energy through the work done. The work is done by the device on the charges, and therefore in the form of work done, the energy is supplied to the electric charges. For example, some of the devices of EMF are power cells, batteries, solar cells, fuel cells, as well as generators. So these are some of the devices which provide the EMF. Now, in order to explain the concept of EMF, let us consider a circuit with an EMF device and a resistor of resistance R. The device keeps positive terminal, that is plus, at higher electric potential than the negative terminal, that is minus. So for this device, the potential of this plus terminal is higher as compared with this minus terminal. The EMF is represented by an arrow from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. Inside this device, the EMF is directed from negative terminal to positive terminal by this arrow. Now when the circuit is open, that is when this EMF device is not connected in the circuit, there is no net flow of charges, so that current will be equal to 0. Now when the device is connected in the circuit, that is when the circuit is closed, then there is flow of charges from one terminal of that device to the other terminal inside this EMF device. The positive charge carriers move from region of lower potential energy to the region of higher potential energy, which is considered as the cathode of this device. So inside this device, the electric charges, positive electric charges, move from negative terminal to positive terminal. Now as current is flowing through that circuit, that means the charges must be flowing through that circuit, and therefore let us consider a small charge dq flows through or flows across this section of this circuit. dq is the charge which flows across this section of the circuit. Then it enters the negative terminal, and leaves the positive terminal. That means dq charge moves from minus terminal, that is negative terminal, to positive terminal. Hence, device must do some work. Some work is done by the device on that charge dq, and hence the EMF will be given in the form of work done by that EMF device, which is written as EMF is given as EMF E equal to dW by dq, dW by dq, that will be equal to work done by that device by the charge flowing through that device. So E is equal to dW by dq. Now the SI unit of EMF is joule per coulomb. So work done, that is the energy, will be measured in terms of joule, and this charge dq will be measured in terms of coulomb, and therefore SI unit of EMF is joule per coulomb. Now in an ideal device, if the EMF device is ideal, there is no internal resistance to the motion of charge carriers. So if you consider this EMF device as the ideal device, then it will not possess its own resistance, which is called as internal resistance of that device. And then there is no internal resistance of that device, the maximum current will be set up in that circuit, and there is no internal resistance to the motion of charge carriers. The EMF of the device is equal to potential difference across the two terminals of that device. So when this device is not having its internal resistance, at that time the EMF of that device E will be equal to the potential difference between the two terminals of that device. So when small r, that is internal resistance, is 0, the electric potential phi will be equal to EMF E of that device. But in real EMF devices, there is an internal resistance to the motion of the charge carriers. So in case of real EMF devices, it will possess some internal resistance, and therefore it will oppose the motion of the charges. When such device is not connected in the circuit, the EMF of device is again equal to potential difference between its terminals, and there is no current flowing through it. When current I flows through an EMF device, that is when that device is connected in the circuit, the EMF of device and potential difference across its two terminals differ due to its internal resistance R. When current is set up in the circuit, at that time the EMF of that device and potential difference across its two terminals will not be equal, but it will differ, and due to the internal resistance. And therefore in this case, if I is the current flowing through that device having internal resistance R, at that time the potential difference phi will be equal to E minus IR. That means when the current is set up in that device, at that time its potential difference will be less than its EMF. So phi is equal to E minus IR. Equation number 1 gives the relation between the potential difference across the two terminals of that device and its EMF. Now by Ohm's law, phi is equal to IR. So that potential difference will be developed across this resistance R, and therefore by Ohm's law phi equal to IR. Putting this value in equation 1, we will get IR equal to E minus IR, or E will be equal to, this IR will be shifted towards left, and therefore we will get E is equal to IR plus IR. That will be written as I into R plus R, taking I common, and therefore from this relation I will be equal to, current through that device will be equal to E upon R plus R, that is external resistance plus internal resistance, and let it be equation number 2. So I is equal to R upon R, that is E upon R plus R. So this relation gives the current, the maximum current that can be drawn, the maximum current that can be drawn from the EMF device will be equal to I max equal to E upon R, E upon R. So at that time, if the external resistance R is equal to 0, at that time current will be maximum, that is I max equal to E upon R, equation number 3. So this equation gives the maximum current drawn by that device when the external resistance of the circuit is equal to 0. And now let us see the combination of the cells. So the cells can be connected in series as well as in parallel. Let us see first the cells in series. The cells will be connected in series. So in series combination of the cells are connected in a single electrical path. The cells are connected in a single electrical path, that is negative terminal of the first cell will be connected to positive terminal of the second. The negative terminal of the second cell will be connected to positive terminal of the next, and so on. That is, the cells will be connected one by one in case of series combination of these cells. So the terminal potential difference of the combination, the terminal potential difference of this series combination of the cells is equal to the sum of the voltages of individual EMFs in series. That is, when the cells are connected in series, at that time the total EMF, the equivalent EMF of this combination will be equal to sum of the EMFs of the individual cells. Now, when two cells of EMFs E1 and E2 are connected in series, then their equivalent EMF ES will be given as ES equal to E1 plus E2, equation number 1. So when the cells are connected in series, at that time the equivalent resistance will be equal to sum of the equivalent EMF will be equal to sum of the individual EMFs, that is ES equal to E1 plus E2, equation number 1. Instead of only two cells, if n number of cells having their EMFs E1, E2, E3 up to En and having internal resistances R1, R2, R3 up to Rn are connected in series, then the equivalent EMF of that series combination of n cells will be given as the sum of individual EMFs. Similarly, their resultant internal resistance Rs will be again given as the sum of internal resistances of all the cells, and therefore we can write equivalent EMF ES will be equal to E1 plus E2 plus En. In short, it will be written by using summation I is equal to 1 to N EI, and the equivalent internal resistance Rs will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus Rn, which will be written as summation I is equal to 1 to N Ri. So in this way when the cells are connected in series, at that time their equivalent EMF will be equal to the sum of individual EMFs of all the cells, so that when the cells are connected in series, then the potential difference or the EMF of that circuit will be increased. And therefore, in order to increase the EMF in a circuit, the cells must be connected in series. Similarly, their equivalent internal resistance will be sum of the individual resistances R1 plus R2 plus Rn, and hence when the cells are connected in series, their equivalent internal resistance is also increased. This already we have seen that R1 plus R2 plus Rn, it is nothing but the resistance which are connected in series. So when the cells are connected in series, their EMF, that is equivalent EMF, as well as equivalent internal resistance, both are increased.